Ain't talking about nothing. Ain't talking about nothing.
You're having your lunch on the lunch break with KYOK.
Broadcasts on KYOK are entirely those of the host, guests, and callers
Man, I like that.
who are
Ain't
entirely
talking about
responsible
nothing.
for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
Walk out on that field today. Ask yourself this question. What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We made it! We made it! We made it! We made it! I'm going to the house! I'm going to the house! When I step on the field, I send one message.
What's up, Kid? Hey, Valencia. Hey, Nate.
This is what it feels like.
Football is getting hit.
That's it. It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's go. Let's hunt. We made it. I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house. We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up with chin straps. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from them. He's a man. He can be a hit just like us. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's war idea. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We made it. I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house. It's a wrap. Game over.
Now, this game is really just getting started right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones, and I done got amped up with Lecrae nothing. He said he ain't talking about nothing. Ain't talking about nothing. That's what Kansas City came out and said. Everybody who doubted them, who didn't believe in them, who's sleeping on them, Kansas City said, you sleep on me, I'll tuck you in because you ain't talking about nothing, as they beat a very good Baltimore team 34-20. And for those who get ready to come for Lamar Jackson and say he's not this and he's not that, you ain't talking about nothing either. He had a bad game against a very good Kansas City team that was prepared. Houston Texan fans, they were prepared. Dallas Cowboy fans, they were prepared. New Orleans Saints fans, they were prepared. I said last night, Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy are the kind of offensive coordinators that offensive coordinators dream of. Man, their plays were like, man, did you see that? Even their screen passes were crazy. There was a play when Pat Mahomes took the snap, act like he was going one way, pivoted around, let me get my chair around, pivoted around, and then handed the ball off to Edwards-Helaire, and it was just, you know, it didn't look like much, it didn't seem like much, but it had a wrinkle to it. There were times when they had four wide receivers stacked over, one right behind the other. They had one on the line, they had three more behind them, and they ran routes, and I love the camera angle because it was from behind the quarterback, so you could see the routes that they ran, and just about all of them were open. I'm sorry. It's almost embarrassing to call Andy Reid and Bill O'Brien by the same title, especially when that title has something to do with offensive coordinator and even head coach. It's embarrassing. It's like calling a person who does surgery on, I don't know, tomatoes, the same thing as a transplant surgeon. It's not the same. It's not the same. I mean, it's just crazy. It is ridiculous to see other teams be so creative and have an answer to what a defense does to them almost from series to series as opposed to from game to game. So, you know what? I'm going to use that. Lecrae ain't talking about nothing. Let me get a little.
Here we go again.
Just a little bit.
Circles. I think I heard it all.
Valencia. You got a stank face.
Something more.
Valencia.
Something more.
Something more. We need something more
Something more.
in Houston.
What you said, I can't hear 'cause you ain't
Talking about nothing. Ain't talking about nothing. I gotta do something with that. I gotta do something with that because the Texans ain't talking about nothing. Skip Thomas, what's up? The Falcons ain't talking about nothing either. And if they don't get Drew Brees together, I'm gonna start saying they ain't talking about nothing either. So anyway, we gotta get ready for a quick break. I'm hyped up, man. I am amped up. I got some great guests coming in today or on video with me today. Kris Gardner gonna be back with the Houston Roundball review. He's going to give us an update on, the basketball side of it. Of course, NBA finals start tomorrow with the Lakers and Miami. And can we stop with the LeBron James against his former team and Pat Riley against his former team? And I love Kobe, but golly, ABC and ESPN's trying way too hard. Y'all trying way too hard. But anyway, we'll have Kris Gardner, and then we'll have Valencia King in the second hour. We'll do all that next right here on the lunch break.
This is for O.G. Robinson. When people say my vote doesn't matter, when you don't vote, your vote counts against you. The other side gets a vote. If you want to fix our broken criminal justice system and reform your local police department to make it more accountable, you need to vote. If you want to increase economic prosperity in the black community, you need to vote. If you want to protect the right to vote, you need to vote. If you want more funding for our schools, you need to vote. Voting does matter. If Black Lives Matter to you, you need to vote. Early voting begins on October 13th and ends on October 30th. Election day is November 3rd. You need to vote. We all need to vote. If you don't vote, it will matter.
Paid for by the Communications Workers of America, District 6, Claude Cummings Jr., Vice President.
Attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who've helped people that have been injured or wronged. Have you been diagnosed with cancer? Are you one of the millions who have taken Zantac or other generic versions of this popular drug to help treat stomach issues? Then pay close attention to this message.
Man,
the FDA said it detected low levels of a probable cancer-causing chemical known as MDMA in Zantac and other generic forms of this popular drug. They've banned sales and even removed it from the market. If you've been diagnosed with cancer and you've taken Zantac or a generic equivalent, call the legal helpline now. You could receive a free cash award and have your medical expenses covered. And there's no upfront cost to you. They only get paid if you win. So please call now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816.
The legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legend continues.
Hi, I'm Larry Scott, host of the Not So Christian and Me Show. Join me Saturdays for great fun, interviews, music, and the latest news surrounding our world today. We are the show that cares to hear your voice and opinion with real conversation in a no judgment zone. So join me Saturdays from 1 to 2 p.m. on the Not So Christian and Me Show, right here on the legendary KYOK Radio, 1140 AM, and the all-new 92.3 FM and KYOKradio.org.
It's the lunch break on KYOK.
Here we go again in circles.
Yeah.
I think I heard it all.
Man, that is strong, man. That beat is lit.
Something more.
Come on, Lecrae. Come on.
Something more. What you said, I can't hear 'cause you ain't talking about nothing.
Ain't talking about nothing. Man, hold on, man. I ain't even gonna be able to get through the show today. Hold on. Hello, you live on the lunch break. Who's this? Hello? Hello? You're on the air. Who's this? Hello? You ain't talking about nothing. You ain't talking about nothing. All right, listen, I gotta go. I gotta get off that. I gotta get off that because if I don't, man, I will be stuck on that all day long. And I think I am. I think I'm gonna stick with that. I think I'm gonna stick with that. But anyway, Skip brought up something that I got to get to right before we came on the air. We got news that the Tennessee Titans have had to suspend all football operations right now because they had 3 positive tests for COVID-19 with their players and 5 positive tests with non-players. And the teams that they just played, the teams that they're gonna play, and the team that they've got for next week, not this week, but next week, have all been put on notice that their games might be postponed. And of course, the team that they just played is waiting for their positive or for their test results to come back because they too might have to quarantine. So Todd say trying to call in, but you can't hear me. All right, Todd, try it again, Todd. Let's see. Todd, I think I got you. I don't know what number you on, Todd. I might call you. Can I call you, Todd? Let me see what I got. Hold on. I want to hear what Todd's got to say because he ain't talking about nothing. Todd ain't talking about nothing. That's my thing for the day. If you ain't talking about nothing, hold on. Let me see. Todd, you got like 88 numbers, man. What number am I gonna call you on, Todd? Let me see. Let me call Todd on this number right here. Hold on, y'all. Y'all stay right there. Let me get Todd on. I hope this is it, Todd. If not, I'm finna call I'm finna call Amber. That one. Stop. 1. No, that ain't right. Hold on, let me try this. Try to call Todd on my show and see if I can't see what he talking about, because he ain't talking about nothing. Let's see. Hold on, Todd. Answer the phone, Todd. That's you? All right, hold on, Todd. Hold on. Let me see if I can get Todd on here. All right. Todd, can we hear you now? Todd, can we hear you now?
Yeah.
All right, Todd, there you are. What's going on, bro?
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you about that Titans thing. I saw it literally 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
You think, you think you'll see more? This is the first one we've seen, since the season started. You think this is something that, we're seeing it in college, right?
Yeah.
They're canceling games. Like U of H has had a couple games canceled.
Right.
You think that'll happen more in the NFL?
You know what? I think it was expected. I don't think they didn't think it would be Tennessee or this soon, but I think they expected it. I mean, the NFL came out quickly with their statement that they are, possibly going to postpone this week's game for Tennessee and possibly even next week's game with Tennessee, and that they've notified all the teams that have been involved and are about to be involved that, they might have to quarantine the team they just played, and then they also might have to postpone those other games. But, at this point, that's really all we know.
So are they, help me understand this, before the teams play, are they testing that day before they actually get on the field or going against each other face to face like that?
Yeah, don't make me lie. Don't make me lie. I'll be very honest. I'm not. I got my brother out here, Kris Gardner from Houston Roundball Review. Chris, I'm not one of those dudes that be like, oh yeah, I talk to every player, I go to every practice, and I know every family member. I'm so connected. I'm not that dude. I'm not gonna lie. I ain't been down to NAM practice. I ain't been in the locker room since they shut that locker room down. They could open it up for 50,000 media personalities. I won't be there, so I don't know, Todd. I don't know what they're doing in there.
Yeah, man. So, how long do you think the Titans are shut down for?
You know what? I think it really just depends on how bad the outbreak really is. Right now, we got 8. If it jumps up to 12, 15, double digits, I think that they might shut them down for a couple of weeks. If it's just the 3 and the front office folks 5, I think they pull up some practice squad players, let them make some free agent moves, make sure everybody else is clean, and go forward with that. I don't see them shutting everything down if it's the 8 that we got right now.
Interesting. Okay. Well, no, I just wanted to grab you real quick. I know you got your guess, but I'll hang up and listen.
All right, brother. Appreciate you as always, Todd. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, joining me without further ado is none other than the man with the Houston Roundball review. It's Kris Gardner. I didn't mean to rhyme right there, but I got it like that. What can I say? A lot happening in the world of the NBA, Kris. What are you thinking, first of all, about the way the playoffs just ended and what we got right now? Well, you know, where the conference finals just ended and what we got right now as far as the NBA finals.
Well, AJ, I got one prediction right. I got Lakers over Nuggets in 5. I had Celtics in 7, so that was wrong, clearly. Miami put me on the spot there, played better down the stretch, got things done in that fourth quarter and able to finish ball games. The Celtics just couldn't handle Bam Adebayo in Game 6. The Celtics big man, I should say. Yeah. But then you look at Boston's their offense. What was it down the stretch? In certain points of the game, I didn't know what they were doing. They just went one-on-one, no passing, no ball movement. You know, and then I got to be honest with Kris Gardner joining us here from Houston Roundball Review. You know, I have not been a fan of Brad Stevens, and I tried to be objective. I said, okay, he's a good coach, but it's right there that he becomes a better coach. When he calls a timeout, he settles his very young players down, and he tells them, we're not going to win this with one-on-one street ball. We're not going to win this jacking up threes. We need buckets and stops. And they allowed Miami to build the momentum and the lead, and they allowed Bam to just get in a rhythm at the wrong time for them. And now you look up and it's double digits, and you got pretty much no time left on the clock. Yes, Stevens took out Grant Williams at the wrong time. Yep. It was clear that Daniel Tice couldn't defend Bam Adebayo, and Bam took advantage, and that dunk he had over Tice set the tone, and then Bam got involved in like the next 9 points for the Heat. So Stevens, you know, coaches make mistakes. Coaches go with their gut sometimes, and sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong. But I'm looking forward to Lakers Heat Game 1 on Wednesday. LeBron going against one of his former teams. A lot of different storylines that can be built up and discussed. And we got LeBron in his 10th finals, Andre Iguodala in his 6th straight NBA finals. So one old head is going to get a ring, and another's not. So we'll see. Yeah. Let me do this. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll talk about that more in depth right after this. And of course, we got to talk about the Doc Rivers thing. All that right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all new 92.3 FM.
KYOK 1140 AM. The legendary KYOK 92.3 FM. 2 radio stations in one.
You're home. You're a diabetic. You need supplies, but you don't want to visit the pharmacy. What do? Call US Med for home delivery of your supplies. If you have diabetes and you're worried about going to a crowded pharmacy, pick up the phone in the safety and comfort of your home and let US Med deliver them to you with free shipping. And now if you test your blood sugar 4 more times a day and inject insulin 3 or more times a day, you may qualify to get a new continuous glucose monitor at little or no cost, which may eliminate the pain of pricking your fingers and helps you make smarter diabetes decisions. Plus, we'll send you a 90-day supply and bill your insurance company for you. Get some peace of mind. Call US Med today.
800-417-0851.
One more.
800-417-0851. That's 800-417-0851.
Now is a great time to replace your worn-out windows during the Renewal by Andersen 25-year savings event. Upgrade your home today. Buy 4 windows and get the 5th one free. Plus, get 12 months with no interest, no money down, and no payments. Call now. Get 4 windows and get the 5th one free. Installation and warranty included. Renewal by Andersen takes every CDC-recommended safety precaution to protect your family. For 25 years, people have trusted us for their window replacement needs, and you can too. Call now to learn about our buy 4, get the 5th one free window replacement offer.
800-245-1537. 800-245-1537. 800-245-1537. That's 800-245-1537.
Hey, what's going on? This is Lecrae, and right now you're listening to The Lunch Break.
Bobby, get 'em. All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones It is our Team Texas Tuesday, and we talk about something. Lecrae said you ain't talking about nothing. I'm hearing a lot about the matchup between LeBron and his favorite former team, and Pat Riley against his former team. I mean, and then of course, they keep bringing in the Kobe part. I feel like ABC and Disney is doing too much. I feel like the matchup itself, with the way that Miami got there. I mean, Miami ran the gauntlet. They beat the who's who of the East to get there. And the fact that the Lakers did it the way they did it against really a sexier pick by the time the series got started with Denver, I think the game's got enough of its own energy than to try and interject those tear-jerking storylines. Am I wrong, Kris? Help me out.
You're talking like a media person. You're not talking like a fan. They're trying to get Joe Fan to watch the finals. They're not, we're going to watch regardless.
Yeah.
They're trying to boost those numbers and get other people to watch, to get their interest peaked to tune in to see what's going on, because we know who's playing. We know who won, how they got there, and all those things. But they're trying to maximize their opportunities and maximize the ratings. So that's what they're really trying to do, is push storylines. And the NBA is not the NFL. And I saw Bomani Jones tweeted, it doesn't matter who's playing in the Super Bowl for folks to tune in to watch that. It matters who's playing in the NBA Finals for folks to tune in and watch the NBA Finals.
Okay, I got you, and thank you for that. You pulled me off the ledge, because I was ready to plug my ears and just watch the game quietly, so I don't have to hear all the the sad stories.
I don't care about the stories either.
Yeah, and maybe I have officially crossed over to be a media personality or whatever.
Welcome.
Skip Thomas. Yeah, thank you. Skip Thomas asks, are the Rockheads, I see what you did there, interested in Doc? Where would he, would he deal with the small ball?
Yes, the Rockets are interested in Doc. When it comes down to me, is how much will Tim want to pay Doc and pay Tyronn Lue. I think that will be a factor in getting one of those two guys to coach the Rockets. Chronicles Fagan pointed that out about Doc Rivers' interest. I think Doc surprised a lot of folks that he announced that he was stepping down, and the Clippers did the right thing professionally, saying it was a mutual decision and all those kind of things. But I think some folks kind of saw the writing on the wall toward the end of how that series ended for the Clippers, that the players, for whatever reason, just stopped listening to Doc. And Doc, as we talked about Brad Stevens, did not make good adjustments. We can criticize him for some of the things he didn't do that did not work well in that series against the Nuggets. So, yes, the Rockets are interested. I think Doc, he's got a ring, but Doc also is, and it's on his resume, this is part of what it is. He's also a coach who's blown 3-1 series leads. So that is part of his coaching resume. And if he comes to the Rockets, small ball will be a part of it, because that's what Daryl Morey wants. So I think that'll also be in consideration of what Doc wants to do. But I think Doc would add to it and give the Rockets a plan B, a plan C, as opposed to just we're going to jack up threes, go to the line, or get layups. That's small ball analytics. I think Doc would add things to that. I hope that somebody like Tyronn Lue would as well. But it wouldn't surprise me if a younger coach, not say younger, a first-year head coach would not have that cachet to do those kind of things that he or she wants to do.
Yeah. We got Kris Gardner joining us from Houston Roundball Review. Still glad to have him on the show. If you want to follow him, be sure and go to THRR.com. I'm sorry, THERR.com. And it stands for the Houston Roundball Review. So, Kris, you bring up a good point with a first-year head coach. When we look at Kevin McHale, when you look at Jeff Van Gundy, when you look at Mike D'Antoni, and who did they have before that? I mean, when you look at those guys, is it now time for some new blood here in Houston? And can they have real new blood with Daryl Morey dictating the style of play from the GMC?
That's a great question. And honestly, I am not sure of that. I don't believe that as long as Daryl Morey really emphasizes and pushes analytics, small ball, I mean, that's the way the roster is constructed. So the new coach is going to have to realize that anyway and make do with what he or she has and inherits. I keep saying he or she because even though we have not heard of Becky Hammond being mentioned, I'm going to toss her name as a possibility. Not very likely, but still, out of respect to her.
Yeah,
I think Daryl Morey, he's going to stick with small ball, stick with analytics. And, Sam Cassell, former Rocket icon in some folks' eyes, he would be a first-year head coach. My thing with the first-year head coach, would Russ, would Harden, would Eric Gordon, would the veterans respect that head coach as much as they would a Doc Rivers or a Ty Lue, a coach who's got a championship ring under their belts? Would Sam Cassell get the kind of cachet? Would a Kenny Atkinson get that kind of respect? I mean, Kenny Atkinson, he kind of left Brooklyn in a bad light because he lost the locker room as well. So would they want to do that? He has some ties with the organization here in town, but how convinced are you would he be that he would be the one to convince Harden and Russ and not lose the locker room here like it did in Brooklyn?
Yeah, again, we got Kris Gardner joining us. Follows the Rockets, covers everything basketball here in the city and the state. And Chris, let me. Okay, I got my little fist on, my little fight the power on.
Love it.
Do we care that James Harden and Russ might not listen? I mean, we've been listening to James Harden for how long? And what do we have to show for it? I mean, when does it stop being about what they think and what they want and just have that mutual respect? Sam Cassell has played the position, has done well at it, has a chip. When are these guys going to start listening to them instead of us listening to them?
Well, I mean, this is the Players League, AJ. That's what we hear over and over about. The NBA is a Players League. But keep in mind, Mike D'Antoni was what? A player's coach. He was that's what he's considered, a player's coach. Well, that player's coach left after 4 years. Kevin McHale was not a player's coach. Kevin McHale and James did not get along.
Right.
Toward the end. So you can say it that it's not, should we listen to James or whatever. In the end, James and Russ will make the Rockets win or not. The coach can only do so much. The coach can design, the coach and his staff can design great plays, do the X and O's all day long. But the players on the floor will get it done or will not get it done.
I know you're right. I just had to ask the question. I mean, I'd be a poor journalist if I didn't ask the question. Let's go a little deeper down that rabbit hole. Is it time to start thinking about, since Tillman brought Morey back, and that would have been a significant change if they didn't. But the fact that he brought Morey back, do we now need to look at how much more we can get out of James Harden? And I mean, that didn't work out with Dwight Howard. It didn't work out with Chris Paul. There's been bumps in the road with his best friend from childhood. Is it now time to see what we can't get back from James Harden and rebuild this team in a different direction?
Are you talking about trading James Harden, suggesting that?
I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just saying, instead of James Harden, can we look at what we can get back for James Harden if it were a trade?
I think that's 1 year away at minimum. I don't believe they're going to do that. They're not going to. I don't see Daryl Morey scrapping it that soon.
Yeah.
I think they're going to try to use one of their slogans from recent years, run it back, and try to make it work with a new coach and maybe some tweaks to the offense. Different. Like I said, one of the biggest things is you need a plan B. You need a plan C. If you bring in a Sam Cassell, Sam, I would believe, would go to his, what he knows, mid-range game. Mm-hmm. He was famous for the mid-range pull-up shot.
Yep.
Add that to the arsenal. There's nothing wrong with adding more things to your bag. The Rockets are 3-point, and that's it. Stand in a corner, wait on James or Russ to pass you the ball, and Lakers took that away. And then what? They had nothing else to do.
And let me dig into that a little bit. And I know there are going to be analytic folks that are going to say, well, the numbers don't bear that out. Every single team that's stuck with the analytics is out.
Yes.
When the Lakers needed buckets, guess what? They got mid-range. They drove to the basket. And while Denver was shooting threes, guess what? The Lakers was getting buckets and stops. When Boston needed to get back in it, they kept shooting threes, the higher value shot, and Miami just started getting buckets. Mid-range, Bam Adebayo wasn't shooting threes. He wasn't shooting threes. Buckets, stops, and rebounds.
But also, AJ, it also helps who's shooting those threes. The Rockets do not have enough high percentage three-point shooters to justify the volume of threes they shoot. 50, 60 threes makes no sense if you don't have guys shooting 40% from three. That's ridiculous. 50 or 60, and that's mainly because it's threes more than two. We're gonna take enough threes and then assume we'll make enough to override the twos that we could have gotten instead.
Yep. And Chris, you're talking to a math guy. Got a couple of pieces of paper saying that I got degrees in math. But watch this. Threes are better than twos, but twos are better than nones. And when you're not making threes, guess what? You don't get 1 point. You don't get 2 points. You get no points. And when folks making their twos to your nones, guess what? The threes don't matter. And to your point, everybody said going into this series that the Rockets had the better matchup. I kept saying I don't see it. And those quote-unquote shooters didn't show up when they were needed the most, which tells me they weren't who we thought they were. So look at the teams.
They were who I thought they were. They were who I thought they were. Because the Rockets don't have elite shooters.
Right.
They have scorers.
Yeah.
They have volume shooters.
Yep.
Eric Gordon, once again, did not shoot well from three.
Nope.
When he was at his most effective in these playoffs, he was attacking the basket. Finishing at the rim or getting to the line, making free throws.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yep. And what's crazy is the most effective shooter from three, Jeff Green.
Go figure. Yeah.
And he got limited minutes.
Ben McLemore started making threes, but he hurt himself because his defense became a myth. I mean, he was lost on defense far too many times. You could see his teammates during the games, got to be over here, need to be over here, be at this spot, be at this spot. They kept talking to him, you're in the wrong spot. So then Tony had to say, well, if you're not defending well enough, I cannot keep you on the floor just because you're going to make a three but give up four.
Right. Yeah, you got a point. Kris Gardner joining us here from the Houston Roundball Review. Let me get that website right, www.therr.com.
Yes, sir. Or for you, AJ, it's also HoustonRoundballReview.com.
Got it. All right, listen, we got to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We'll talk more about the big matchup that starts tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Central, live on ABC. It's the Lakers and the Miami Heat. I want to talk about that. Because, again, we have given a lot of love to your boy Brad Stevens. And it ain't about Brad, but Eric Spoelstra. It was one thing when he was coaching LeBron, D-Wade, and Bosh and them. But look at what he's done with what he has now. I like that kind of coaching. We'll be right back right after this on the lunch break. 281-453-1000 if you want to get in. 281-453-1000 if you want to get in. Let me give you this news. The last day to register to vote is coming up October the 5th. It's less than a week away. The early voting starts October 13th through the 30th. And if you want to apply for a ballot by mail, you got to do that by October the 23rd. The last day to receive it is November the 3rd. You gotta make sure you get registered to vote by October the 5th. All right. We'll be back with more right after this on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all new 92.3 FM.
I'm Gary Bledsoe, Texas NAACP president. In my lifetime, we have worked and sacrificed to make real progress.
That's right, Gary. I'm Claude Cummings, Vice President of the Communication Workers of America. Our community is under attack again.
Our jobs are being exported. The court system has largely turned its back on us, and people need to realize, Claude, is the last election amounts to a true revolution, where all those gains in civil rights and human progress are actually being targeted.
I know powers in Washington want to deny health care to working people who have pre-existing conditions, eliminate environmental protections for minority communities. It even encourages racism.
We thought those days were gone.
Dr. King said the time is always right to do what is right.
Let's do what's right. Let's vote and get your family and friends to vote too. If you don't, you should not be surprised to see drastic changes in your world.
Vote early or on election day.
Political advertising paid for by the Communications Workers of America.
You're listening to
1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legendary KYOK.
I'm going to tell you how you can get real health insurance for as little as $6 a day. Yes, now you can get affordable health insurance for you and your family immediately, starting at just $6 a day. And coverage is guaranteed regardless of your medical condition. That's right, for about $6 a day, you can have guaranteed health insurance. And there's dental, vision, and prescription coverage too. You owe it to yourself and your family to make this free call right now and learn more. There are no deductibles, no waiting period, no contracts, and coverage is guaranteed. Call National Health right now for your risk-free guaranteed health insurance quote starting at just $6 a day. Call now.
800-797-0921. 800-797-0921. 800-797-0921. That's 800-797-0921. Paid for by GoHealth.
Hey, what's going on? This is Lecrae, and right now you're listening to The Lunch Break.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It is our Team Texas Tuesday. Got to give Lecrae some love. He's got me going today. You know, what's interesting, and Chris, let me divert for a second. They just brought me the news in about the Tennessee Titans suspending all in-person activities due to 8 positive COVID-19 tests, 3 players, 5 front office people. But what is being failed to be mentioned is that Minnesota, who just played Tennessee, has also suspended in-person activities while they're waiting to get their test results back. And then the teams that are coming up for this week and next have all been put on notice that their games might be postponed. So let's make sure we put that out. Tennessee is not the only team that has had to suspend their face-to-face activities. Minnesota's also suspending theirs. So the NFL got a little bit of juggling to do if this turns out to be something bigger than what we know today. All right, let's get back to this matchup with the Lakers and Miami. Why isn't Eric Spoelstra? I know it's in the middle of the finals, just getting started the finals, middle of the playoffs. Eric Spoelstra needs to be getting more run on what he has done with this team, because he's got them young and he's got them older. You know, he's got some folks that, you know, a lot of people, Philly couldn't get the same thing out of Jimmy Butler. What was Philly about? Was that Jimmy Butler not wanting to be there, or Philly just not appreciating the value of a Jimmy Butler there?
The second thing. It's more about what the players not. Jimmy is not for everybody. He knows that. He says that. And Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons and other guys on that Sixers team, they did not want to be pushed like Jimmy pushes the guys on the Heat. Jimmy, he's no nonsense. Love him, leave him, hate him, whatever. He is who he is. And that culture represents perfectly, fits him perfect with the Miami Heat. And Eric Spoelstra is a great coach, but Eric Spoelstra is not, he's not style. He's not flashy. He is a hard-nosed guy, you know, starting from that video coordinator job years ago. He's a grinder. Yeah. And Joe Fan does not appreciate that. And let's just be honest. He is not one of those, he's not a toot his own horn kind of person. He simply goes into the office and gets it done. And his players represent that. Management represents that. Pat Riley on down. That is the Miami Heat culture. And they have players who bought into that system, who fit that system. And that's what they do. And then they develop young players too. Something, you know where I'm going with that. But anyway, okay, so yeah.
I do, and I'm glad you went there, because, again, this is Kris Gardner joining me from Houston Roundball Review. When is the last time the Rockets had a Tyler Hero or a Robinson or one of those guys? When's the last time we had that guy? Was it Clint Capella? I mean, when was the last time they drafted and brought up and developed a young player?
Well, you're going to go with drafted. That's Clint Capella, because signing Daniel House has gotten better through the organization, going to the G League and improving himself. Then he take a huge step back and he's got to earn back the trust of all his teammates in the organization for what he did to get sent home from Orlando. But other than those two, and I always like saying this about Clint Capella on draft night. When the Rockets drafted Clint Capella, the Rockets' initial plan was for Clint to stay overseas. Clint told all of us on draft night in the media room, oh, no. I will be in Houston this season. So that was Clint Capella. Disagreeing from the Rockets front office. The plan was for him to stay overseas and develop. Clint told, oh, no, I will be here in Houston this season. We're like, oh, okay. Well, we'll see. And sure enough, there it was.
Yeah.
Take that for what it is.
And I got to tell you, he developed some, but without the pick and roll, without the alley-oop, and without a putback, what other move or value did he have? It wasn't a mid-range jumper. It wasn't a sky hook. It wasn't anything like that. So where was the development for that young player whom, like you said, they drafted?
But see, in the last 2 years, the Rockets did not emphasize the mid-range game. They went away from emphasizing a low post game. So Clint did what he was asked to do. Because I do believe, wasn't Akeem working with Clint about 3 years ago?
Yeah, and if I was Akeem, I'd get some of that money back, because it's like.
So if Akeem is working with Clint to work on low post moves, and then the analytics say, well, low post moves are not a high percentage shot, are not an efficient shot. Okay, so the best player in your franchise history, what he did back in the day no longer is efficient.
Doesn't work at all. Just
so that's why you have won a ring in 25 years.
Yep. The thing that didn't work brought in rings is things you're doing right now that are efficient have yet to do it. Yeah,
and even the broadcast or the low post game, that's a low percentage shot. It's not efficient. If I have mastered my low post shot, my jump hook at a 60% plus clip, that's a money shot. That is a money shot. That's a go-to move. Every player needs to have a go-to move. If that go-to move is getting it done in the post, give me the ball in the post. And then it's up to the opponent to decide if they're going to double team me or let me kill them one-on-one all day long. If double team me, then I'll kick it out to my three-point shooters, and then you'll get what? A three-point shot.
Yep. Yeah, what's crazy is that's what LeBron did in that final game. LeBron went straight to the basket at least 6 times in a row, and either he laid it up or he kicked it out for somebody to hit a three, including Rajon Rondo. And I said, for all of those who said Rajon Rondo was washed, I ain't talking about regular season, because we've seen the Rockets go off regular season. I'm talking about when it counts, when the money is made, and that's in the playoffs. Rajon Rondo, man, he hurt Denver. He broke Denver's backs at times where they thought that they had stops and runs.
Playoff Rondo is the real deal. He hurt the Rockets. It'll be good to see. It'll be fun to see playoff Rondo go against playoff Iggy. We'll see what Iggy did. Yep, Iggy made 4 threes in Game 6, and there's a fine line between being a veteran and being old. Because when you are old, you're no longer productive. But when you're a veteran, you deliver when it counts.
Yeah, that's true. Kris Gardner, Houston Roundball Review, right here on the lunch break. Kris, I know we got to get ready to go, but why don't you go ahead and give me your rundown on what you think we'll see tomorrow night, Game 1 of the NBA Finals.
I'm kind of curious to see how Bam does against Dwight Howard, the Lakers bigs. Dwight Howard, he shouldn't have a problem with JaVale McGee. Bless JaVale McGee's heart. He's out there. He's 7 feet tall. He does something, but more times than not, he's clumsy and gets in the way. And then we'll see how Bam does when AD goes to the 5 spot. So I'm kind of curious to see how that will play out. We'll see if Duncan Robinson will be able to get his shot enough. He got a quick release. Elite shooter. Elite. Solid hero. Young man has no fear. We'll see if that carries over to the finals. Because in the finals, it's a different animal.
Whole different
animal. We'll see how that works out. I'm picking the Lakers. I say Lakers in 6. I'm going with LeBron. In the end, I'm going with the best player, and until different, I'm picking LeBron to get another ring.
Yeah, that's where I'm going. I wanted to go 7 just because, I love watching Miami. I loved watching the Lakers. I wanted to go 7, not because I think it will. I'm a basketball fan. You know what I mean? So, but I'm with you. I'm picking the Lakers to do it. Hey, Kris, tell everybody where they can find you and follow you and all the good work that you do.
Visit my website, HoustonRoundballReview.com. Also, the HRR.com. I got a podcast all over podcast platforms as well. Got a YouTube channel, Houston Roundball Review. You can listen or watch my interviews. I'm trying to get like AJ and get into social media with video is now trying to advance and broaden my perspective on reaching people. So I have videos that I do as well. Most of them are with, I have one with the NTA basketball committee member, Nina King, on the women's side, interviewed her. That's on YouTube. Rossi Karen, who is a young man who is working on having a tournament bubble type setting on college scene here in town. Interviewed him a few weeks ago and hope to follow up with him based on what the NCAA has announced as far as start dates and things like that, how it's going to impact his plans to have a bubble about 20 teams. It was an initial thing, 20 teams to play here in Houston for non-conference games. So interview with him on the Roundball Review channel on YouTube, our website, HoustonRoundballReview.com. Real quick, for folks who going to throw rocks at me and AJ, yes, Game 5 at WNBA semifinals tonight, Tuesday, Las Vegas Ace, Connecticut Sun on ESPN2, 6:30. So if you don't want to watch that debate, you can tune in to watch ESPN2, watch Game 5. The winner of tonight's matchup will face the Seattle Storm in the WNBA Finals, which starts Friday, October 2nd. So yes, men's and women's basketball is discussed on HoustonRoundballReview.com.
As it should be. As it should be. In fact, I'm a little salty at the NBA for the way they've scheduled the women's games and what they've put them up against. Why would you put the women up against the NFL? And, why would you not give them, at least a 30-minute start on some of the other stuff that they were up against so people can get some of it in. People miss good basketball.
Yes.
And I still don't know why. Yeah. Somebody hit me with a quick
better.
question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it has gotten better, but again, I want them to do right by those ladies. They play good ball. Somebody asked, who do you think the final decision will be for the Rockets?
Oh boy. I do not believe Tillman will spend the money to bring in Doc Rivers or Tyronn Lue. I just don't see it. If he opens up the wallet, then it'd be one of those two. I don't see that happening. So then I'm going to go with Kenny Atkinson or Sam Cassell. Maybe Chris Finch. I think it's going to be a local organization guy. So if that case, be Chris Finch or Kenny Atkinson.
I got you. Kris, you're amazing, bro. I appreciate you making time for us on short notice. I can't wait for the game to start tomorrow. Definitely going to be getting some of that WNBA in today. Astros are getting started in about 5 minutes. We'll see. And I told them they better not blame Dusty. If they don't win this, they better not blame Dusty. So, again, man, thank you for being a good brother. Thank you for being a good friend. And thank you for all the great work you do.
Appreciate it. AJ, real quick. Isn't Minnesota the Texans' opponent supposedly this Sunday?
Yeah. If it doesn't get postponed, Minnesota would be coming to town.
Just want to toss it out there. All right, then. All right.
Yeah. Are you going to be one of the 13-3?
Oh, AJ, I focus on basketball. I stopped watching football about 6-7 years ago.
You know what? I really had to think about it. Do I see Kris in the press box at the Texans game? And I perused the bit. I said, no, he don't go to the Texans game. No.
Basketball strictly for me. I don't even watch it anymore. I haven't watched the Super Bowl in about 5 years.
Wow.
And it's not a political thing, social thing. It's just I don't enjoy it anymore. I have other interests.
Yeah, I got you. Real quick, are U of H, they going to start on time basketball program?
That's the plan. That's the hope. November 25th is the start date. We're waiting on will the men's team be playing in Orlando in a tournament that was moved from Charlotte to Orlando. We'll see if that happens. We shall see.
Okay. All right, man. Hey, when that gets started, I need to have you back because U of H playing some good ball, has done very well lately before all this went bad. So we definitely got to give some love to U of H.
And recruiting. They are getting commitments from the best players in the Houston area. Folks have cried about that for years, so it's being done by this staff.
Yep, Kelvin Sampson. Kris, again, thank you, man. We appreciate you.
As always, AJ, thank you very much, man. Take care.
All right, you too. Kris Gardner, man, I'm telling you, a good follow. Follow him at HoustonRoundballReview.com, HoustonRoundballReview.com, or TheHRR.com. You'll get him right there. And I'm telling you, very good work. And you hear him. He's no nonsense, man. Doing a great job with his podcast as he gets that up and running. I have to, get that together for you guys as well. All right, let me get Sybil Wilkes on here with the latest coronavirus update, and then we'll get into some of this other stuff. I got another great guest coming in about 3 minutes. Got another great guest coming on right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know today about the coronavirus. As of Sunday, the number of new coronavirus cases has increased by at least 10% or more compared to the week before in 21 states, most of them in the West. Cases are rising in several states, including Alabama, Michigan, North Carolina, and Texas. Shirley Bannister, the 57-year-old mother of a South Carolina teacher who died from COVID-19 earlier this month, has died from complications from the virus, according to a relative. Demetria Bannister, a 28-year-old elementary school teacher and music mentor, died earlier this month, just a few days after testing positive for COVID-19. While many young adults may think that they are strong and invincible, doctors warn that coronavirus can strike them with a vengeance. New studies found that among more than 3,000 adults ages 18 to 34 who are hospitalized with the disease, 21% required intensive care and nearly 3% died. Please visit SybilWilkes.com to subscribe to my free daily newsletter. Be informed, be empowered.
Hey, what's going on? This is Lecrae, and right now you're listening to the lunch break.
So won't you take the lead?
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I keep trying to get nothing on here, but it won't let me do it. Why won't it let me do it? Hold on, I got to get that back on because that nothing is the business. There it is. Hold on, let me do that. Bang.
Here we go again.
I'm telling you, that's going to be the intro song when my next guest comes on. So let me pause that right there. Let me just pause that right there on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. Again, I'm AJ Jones, and it is our Team Texas Tuesday. Quick sports update. Kansas City looked like the defending Super Bowl champs as they dominated Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens 34-20 on Monday Night Football. Patrick Mahomes became the first player in NFL history to reach 10,000 yards the fastest. Did it in 34 games, beating Kurt Warner's previous record by 2 games. Now, we'll see if the Texans, who may play Minnesota this Sunday here in Houston, will be able to get their first win. And not only will they be looking for their first win, but they'll be playing in front of approximately 13,300 fans in the stadium. And the workout that they had planned with safety Earl Thomas got postponed, and there's some saying it's due to this COVID thing. It's not. That had nothing to do with Earl Thomas. It's not like the Texans, were exposed. So Earl Thomas could have been here. Something else is going on behind the scenes. Cowboys will host Cleveland. That'll be Sunday at noon Central. New Orleans going to visit Detroit Sunday at noon. Astros in Minnesota getting started in just a minute for the playoff, the wild card round of the playoffs. Again, 1 Central. They're up in Minnesota. And then NBA Finals tomorrow night, Lakers and the Miami Heat. That tips off at 8 Central on ABC. As y'all know, the LA Clippers and Doc Rivers mutually agreed to go their separate ways. The Rockets, New Orleans, and Philly are just a couple of the teams interested in bringing Doc in for an interview. All right, let's get to the top of the hour. We'll be right back.
1140 AM, KYOK Conroe, and 92.3 FM, K222CX Houston.
The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the hosts, guests, and callers who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
Walk out on that field today. Ask yourself this question. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go.
I'll do it.
When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it. It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's go. Let's hunt. We ready. Let's go to the house. Let's go to the house. We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, I know we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up with chin straps. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from them. He's a man. They can be a hit just like us. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. I'm telling you, step on the field, man. That's who I did. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We ready. Let's go to the house. Let's go to the house. It's a wrap. Game over.
Oh, no, this game is still going on. That was first hour on the books, second hour underway right here on the legendary KYOK. I'm AJ Jones, and I'm telling you, we're talking about something. We are definitely talking about something on this show. What's up, Kimberly Armstrong? Long time. What's up? Good to see you. Again, a lot going on with the breaking news that Tennessee had 8 positive cases of COVID-19, 3 players and 5 staff members. You know, again, don't know if they're coaches or front office people, trainers, we don't know. And because of that, Minnesota has been put on notice to stop all in-person activity for right now. Tennessee obviously has stopped all in-person activity, and that means this weekend's games are possibly going to be postponed. Tennessee was going to play Pittsburgh, and let's see, that was going to be, make sure I got this right, Tennessee and Pittsburgh was going to be in Tennessee, so that obviously may be postponed, and the Texans in Minnesota is in jeopardy as well. So, you know, we'll see. It's fluid right now. I believe that the NFL knew this was going to happen, and as a result, have contingency plans in place. I don't know. So we'll see. You know, again, my thoughts and my sincere prayers are with the folks infected. You know, I know people who are like me behind these mics and cameras and, you know, doing our thing, you know, whether it be in you know, writing and all that kind of stuff. We're talking about how the games will be played and how they'll be postponed. But, you know, we don't know medically how these players and staff people are going to be affected. Oh, well, it's just like the flu. So, you know, they'll be fine. You know, a couple of days, they'll be all right. We don't know. So let's not just be callous and so, you know, careless and insensitive to other people's lives and condition. If they're asymptomatic and, you know, that kind of thing, that's one thing. But if they've got complications, that's a whole different deal. You know, and one thing that didn't get talked about a whole lot, it was good to see Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell and Russ Westbrook. And I think that was it, to see them back out there in the NBA bubble and playing well. And all 3 of them, well, with the exception of Russ, 2 of them played pretty well. So obviously they were able to overcome the effects of COVID-19, you know, but Rudy Gobert said he was still dealing with some of the after effects. I think he said he still hadn't gotten the taste back or the smell. It was one of the two. The taste or the smell had not yet come back for him. And again, we just don't know. Just don't know. Another one that kind of went under the radar, Notre Dame is shut down right now. University of Notre Dame is shut down right now because they had a number of positive tests. I almost tweeted that out last night, that Notre Dame is shut down right now because they had a number of positive tests. So, just gotta keep an eye on all of this. Got to keep an eye on all of this. And my next guest just said going to be here in a minute. So yeah, we'll get ready for the special guest. And I'm excited about that. Kansas City last night was fun to watch. Edwards-Helaire is a jewel. I said when they got him, all right, it might be game over. You give Patrick Mahomes a running game to go with his ability to improvise, his ability to make plays. You go add that with Tyreek Hill. You add that with Travis Kelce. All of a sudden, you got something. I'm not saying Williams wasn't a player, but Kansas City is lethal right now. And they proved that. And that defense is better than people think. That defense is a lot better. Chris Jones, though, I think he suffered an injury last night. I think he tweaked a hamstring or a groin or something like that. That's a big man in the middle, and he's not built like, the round mound of I'm crossing over sports, round mound of rebound, like some of the DJ Readers and the Aaron Donalds and the ball. He's not built like that. He's almost built like a defensive end playing in the middle at the defensive tackle in the nose guard spot. And that dude just sucks up space and causes confusion in the middle where you can't run the ball as effectively as you want to and fool around with the ball back there as a quarterback, and he's going to get in there on you as he did last night. Kansas City is quiet and scarily, I know I made up a word, they're a team that might cause some problems later on. And I'm just telling you, man, I'm just telling you, watch out for them. Baltimore is a good team. And they couldn't do what they wanted to do last night. John Harbaugh is a good coach. Couldn't do what he wanted to do last night. Lamar Jackson is a great player. Couldn't do what he wanted to do last night. And like I said, the creativity of the offense in Kansas City, do not ever say either of the Texans' offensive coordinator, Bill O'Brien or Tim Kelly, in the same breath with the same title as Eric Bieniemy and Andy Reid. You just can't do that. That's disrespectful to people who know what they're doing. So, and without further ado, let me get my special guest on. Bang! Oh yeah! Oh, look at the hair! Oh, wait a minute! Hold on.
Couple million. It's foreign cars, pretty girls everywhere you go. Yeah, I heard it 30 times on the radio. Louboutin ain't gonna pay you for that bracket.
Man, hold on. I gotta stop because I'm about to forget where I'm at. And just go all the way in.
Yes, I'm excited to be here. Let me know if everything sounds okay.
Everything sounds great. Everything looks great. I'm loving the hair. What's up?
Thank you. Man, I'm excited to be here. I enjoyed the conversation you just had with Houston Roundball review.
Kris Gardner is a real deal, man. I love Kris. And I love that Kris just said, this is how it is, man. He even humored me a couple of times like, AJ, if that's what you want to think. But we know, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, man, okay, so what? Whatever. I hear you. And he's right. So Kris is very, very good. As I said to him, I will say to ladies and gentlemen, I am Valencia King. Valencia King, host of The Dialogue and Real Talk Sports, joining us. Look, one of the 30, the best 30 under 30, I'm speaking it.
Listen, I receive it. And I'm always happy to be here. And even when I'm not on here chatting, I'm always in the chat with the lunch breakers. So, hey, lunch breakers.
Yeah, you are a lunch breaker, man. And I appreciate the love you gave us on Twitter yesterday. That was perfect.
Oh yeah. You and David were just, the conversations were rolling naturally as always. But I just appreciate you guys always not being afraid to, have different conversations, whether it's in line with sports, quote unquote, or not. Because outside of sports, everyone involved with sports, no matter what your career is, at the end of the day, you're still someone who has a life, and everything that is going on in the world may affect you.
And it's true. And I get I don't even want to call it flack anymore because, it doesn't affect me. But, the comments that I get about, oh, I just want to do this and, oh, this is my escape. Like, I'm really sorry that your life is that bad that you got to hide from your wife and hide from your children and hide from your family for 2 hours so you can think straight. Sounds like you need a therapist, and I got a few of them too.
Yeah. No, that's definitely the memo. You can't use sports as an escape to get away from things that you should really find solutions for in therapy. Therapy is okay. Or maybe it's not therapy. Maybe it's counseling. Maybe it's a life coach. Whatever it is, sports can't be your only outlet to, quote unquote, give you a break from everything else that you're not avoiding to deal with. Let's just sports is a luxury item, just like a luxury car, and it's not a necessity for our lives to move forward.
Absolutely. That's what it is. I am Valencia King knows that. So there you go. You heard it from somebody different than me. Let me take a quick break. We'll come back and let's get into some of this NBA action, which is fantastic. All right, We'll be back with Valencia King right after this on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM.
Inspired toward. We're made for more than just telling stories of, how much money we can get from selling poison to people.
This is for O.G. Robinson. When people say my vote doesn't matter, when you don't vote, your vote counts against you. The other side gets a vote. If you want to fix our broken criminal justice system and reform your local police department to make it more accountable, you need to vote. If you want to increase economic prosperity in the black community, you need to vote. If you want to protect the right to vote, you need to vote. If you want more funding for our schools, you need to vote. Voting does matter. If Black Lives Matter to you, you need to vote. Early voting begins on October 13th and ends on October 30th. Election day is November 3rd. You need to vote. We all need to vote. If you don't vote, it will matter.
Paid for by the Communications Workers of America, District 6. Claude Cummings Jr., Vice President.
Hi, I'm Larry Scott, host of the Not So Christian and Me show. Join me Saturdays for great fun, interviews, music, and the latest news surrounding our world today. We are the show that cares to hear your voice and opinion with real conversation in a no judgment zone. So join me Saturdays from 1 to 2 p.m. on the Not So Christian and Me show, right here on the legendary KYOK Radio, 1140 AM, and the all-new 92.3 FM and KYOKradio.org.
Hey, what's going on? This is Lecrae, and right now you're listening to The Lunch Break.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. Joining me all the way from the DFW is none other than Valencia King, host of The Dialogue and Real Talk Sports, and we are definitely talking about something. All right, okay. I couldn't wait to get in my car where I could just let it rip, because that's what it's going to be right there. All right, Valencia, We got to the NBA Finals. Mm-hmm. But, man, those conference finals are not bad at all. Miami proved to be the real deal. Tell me what you saw in that final game, that final matchup, what you like, what you didn't like, and what you think.
Well, I mean, I love Miami's grit, and giving props to Eric Spoelstra. He's a coach that's been there before, and I feel like you said it was either you or David or both of you guys. He's not going to never be, calm or less than calm. He's going to keep his composure unless, it's like an angry coach that the refs missed a call and you got to get your team hyped. But he's leveled. He's been there before, and unfortunately for the Celtics, they put up a fight. It's not like they went out without swinging, but like you said yesterday and today, that difference in coaching strategies, if Brad Stevens would have called a timeout sooner before it got away from them, Miami was on their way to a run. And I was sitting on the couch watching it too. I'm like, okay, this run is only going to get further and further away from you. And the clock is not in your favor. So it's just those little things like that maybe not saying Boston would have won, but just they would have had a better chance, I think.
And I don't want to be that guy that everything Brad Stevens does is just, oh, God, I can't believe he did that. And I really tried to be objective. But it, to me, was the sequel to what he did a couple years ago in the Eastern Conference Finals against Cleveland, where in the last couple of minutes of the game, he let it get away because they were just coming down, jacking up threes, while Cleveland and LeBron and them were just going back making buckets, and then they ended up pulling out a game that Boston should have won. And to me, it was the same kind of scenario. Call a timeout, get your young team together, let them know y'all need buckets, y'all need rebounds, y'all need stops.
Yes.
And you do that, we got a chance. And sure enough, they let a lot of things go that he could have affected. Just me.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. And I would hope, as they're now in their official postseason, they can look at these things and get better from it. We can obviously acknowledge that Boston is a young team. But the fact that they got there and still had a fighting chance says that I would put this on the coaching staff, and not exclusive to Brad either, because there's a whole 12 other one of y'all that could have said, hey, yo, Brad. Hey, yo, Brad.
Yeah.
I know it falls on the head coach because he has that title, but I'm looking, when things like that happen, I'm like, is nobody else? Because if two of y'all told Brad to make a timeout, then Brad should know to take a timeout.
Right.
Honestly, I was rooting for Boston. I was rooting for Denver. I knew what the outcome would possibly be, but I was just, I don't know, those young guys, they showed a lot of heart, and they're hopefully can only get better.
Yeah. Let's jump over to Denver. Heck of a run.
Yeah. Heck of a run.
The two were right there, but LeBron bucked the analytics. LeBron said, I'm going to the hole every single time down this stretch. And it's almost like when he D'd up Murray the game before. I'm just giving to me. I got him for the rest of the game. He said, offensively, I'm going to the basket and I'm going to make something happen. And every time that he did it, he either scored, got fouled, or dished out to somebody who hit the open shot.
Yeah, absolutely. Pardon me.
No problem. I know you in demand.
Mute that. But yeah, I agree. And honestly, can we talk about LeBron? Can we talk about the Lakers with this letter to the NBA? I just don't. How do you feel about it? If you're a Lakers fan, you're gonna want them to do whatever they can do to win. But for them to, and if they had a case or not, I'm not saying they didn't have a case, but it's just like, how much more can the red carpet be rolled out?
Well, let me just say this, and I'm not being an apologist. Let's take the Lakers off of it.
Okay.
I want to know that I've got coaches and an organization that's going to do everything they can to put us in the best position to win. I'll focus on the basketball end of it if you make sure we're getting the calls we should get for the things that we're not receiving in calls right now. It's like me. In my role, I'm going to run the interference for you. You just do your job. Let me handle it. I'm not mad at them for doing it. And again, and I'm not knocking Brad. If Brad's not doing that, if D'Antoni wasn't doing that, if y'all's coach isn't doing that, then that's on them. But those are the kind of things that you got to do to make sure you have the best chance for your team to win.
It's true. It's true. No, you're right. I think I might be a little bit stuck in my old school phenom of no one was writing letters in the 90s, but it's fine. It's fine. We're progressive here.
and what, a lot of times you hear somebody sent, some video to the front office, show what they're talking about as an example. And then, that next game, they're now starting to get those calls or being allowed to do those moves. Because I'll tell you, the Rockets did it with James Harden's step back. When they started calling that as a travel, it was D'Antoni and Morey that sent the video to the front office and said, wait a minute now, you said that they get the gather, and when he steps back, all he's doing is gathering and shooting. Well, guess what? That's not a travel. and all of a sudden it changed, and now you got other people doing the step back three.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's a part of the beauty of the game. It is allowed to evolve. There are things that can happen to make it better. So, I'm just a little bit in the nostalgia of it, just a wee bit. But I mean, honestly, after it came out that the Lakers organization put in the letter to the NBA, I was like, where's Denver staff? Y'all need to be writing and typing. I don't know what the letter needs to say, but if they're putting in the letter, we put in the letter too.
And Malone did send some video. I don't know if he sent the letter, but he sent a video about, I think it was Murray or one of the other players, some calls that they didn't get. I don't know what the results of it was, but they did talk to Malone about what he sent to the front office as well. I know another team that did it. It was Milwaukee, because they were starting to say things about Giannis's drive to the basket, how he was getting 3 steps instead of the 2 or whatever the rule was. Right. They were saying he was taking too many, and when they sent it in, all of a sudden it was nope, it's fine, perfect. Yeah. But I mean, those are the gamesmanships. Those are the Phil Jackson things. Those are those coaches that are cerebral. You got to know more than just X's and O's, and that's where sometimes these first-year head coaches, they don't get all of that, and that's where they get out-coached sometimes. An extra call here, an extra call there can be the difference in some of these games.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I'm still mighty not concerned, but I'm mighty impressed at the security of whatever area the refs are staying in, because there's been no reports of refs being hurt.
That's too funny.
I'm shocked.
That's too funny. Valencia King, host of The Dialogue and Real Talk Sports, joining us here on Team Texas Tuesday. So, in your opinion, was there bad reffing in these last 2 series?
I wouldn't say there was bad reffing in these last 2 series versus when the semifinals. I was a little bit more unimpressed with some calls early in the second round of the playoffs. But yeah, I mean, this one, it kind of, the further along you get, you can't really rely on the calls. You need to be in a position to win, and that's it. And I think we talked about it. No, you and David talked about it, and I was in the chat on one of the shows with Bam's block that won Miami one of those games. And, those are just one of those things that, just depends on whatever side of the fan base you're on, of whether you like it or don't like it. And it is, I guess, going to be a moment, just like LeBron's famous block is a moment. But I'm just saying his whole hand was in the rim. It was in the cylinder. That's all.
and that's the thing. So in that series, in that game, I should say, would you rather have them review everything to get it right, or would you rather there be some human error where it was close enough where I can see how he got it wrong, or I can see how they got it right, even though it looked like it was wrong? Mm-hmm.
I just think because that was in the last 2 minutes, maybe even 30 seconds of the game, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so that was very under a minute.
So when you get further down the line, when it's closer to the end of the game, I just, as a fan, don't like it when missed calls determine the game. And so I know as a team, you just shouldn't be in that position to where you're relying on the refs to help you win a game. But sometimes it does come down to that. So, of course, if you're Boston and you see that, because there's a reason why Bam's whole hand was in the rim. It's because Jalen had the power enough to push his hand back in the rim. If Bam was overpowering Jalen, his hand would still been straight up. Yeah. Jalen came in to dunk it with force.
Yeah. He came like a grown man.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So that's my only thing that I'm kind of like, okay, we can acknowledge that, yes, Bam was there for the block, but the reason his whole hand was in the cylinder of the rim was because of Jalen's force. And that overpowers it, so that's why I feel like it should have been goaltending. Jalen had more of the power.
Okay, so now you know I'm a nerd and a geek, so all of my spidey senses are going off right now. So, do you not give it credit for the block before the force pulls his hand back into the cylinder of the rim, because he blocked it straight up, and then said he got knocked back. So it was already being blocked. Do you not give the credit for the block when it happened as opposed to where it ended up?
Well, to me, it would have been a clean block if he like literally block as in stop the ball from moving. He didn't stop the ball from moving. The Jalen kept him and the hand going into the rim.
Yeah. But you know, there's different kind of blocks now. There's blocks where you get that out of here. There's blocks where you get it to one of your teammates, and then there's blocks where you pin it in their hand, and then they both come down with it, and it's jump ball. But then there was that one where he blocked it, but the momentum and this watch this centrifugal force of come on here somebody of Tatum pulled his hand back in the cylinder, but it was still blocked, right?
Let's think about this. If it was an arm wrestling match, Jalen would win.
Okay. I like it. I like where you went with that one. I did. Now I got to tell you, that one was not as egregious as, like you said, the calls in the round before that, where they made a very bad call against Miami and then came back on the other end and had to make a similar call, but it allowed Jimmy Butler to win a game with no time on the clock from the free throw. I mean, don't want to see that ever in a playoff game, ever.
I didn't like it when they did it in All-Star. The new rules they put for the All-Star, and the West won it on some free throws. No, that just should not be applied, especially when it's late in the game and you miss a call. Like, we're fans, we know the game. There's a term called make-up calls for a reason. So that was one of those scenarios, and I'm like, no, it's too close to have these makeup. No.
You are hilarious. Valencia King, host of Real Talk Sports and The Dialogue, joining me here on the lunch break. I got to find this guy's name because I always get it wrong. But, excuse me, this guy never, when I tell you he never gets a call, you know how they have the Jordan rules and they got the LeBron rules? Caruso has no rules. Caruso has no rules. He gets no breaks. If it looks like he was about to foul the guy, they're going to call it. And he knows to just raise his hand. He doesn't even whine anymore because he knows I have not crossed that threshold yet where I'm going to get any of the calls. I feel bad for him sometimes.
Yeah, he's still in the early stages because I believe they call it the Caruso effect. I think that's one of his taglines for his fan base. And so he's in the early stages of it. So the refs recognize you. That's why you've been called for fouls. They don't respect you enough yet to when you don't get called for fouls. So he's just got to keep on going, keep on pushing along. But he's getting the recognition. He just got to keep on pushing through.
Thank goodness he's got some hops and a headband, because those two things allow him to step out and stand out. It's the hops and the headband, bro. Other than that, they're going to call you for a foul.
Oh, absolutely.
Kimberly Armstrong asks, Valencia, are you a fan of my Lakers?
Well, my dad is born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. So I grew up knowing about LeBron James from Akron, Ohio people stand up. And so we are, by we, I mean my dad, we are LeBron fans,
Stand up?
Yes, Ohio people stand up, whoop, whoop. But I like LeBron. I grew up, with the Ohio roots, so knowing LeBron and just respecting everything he's been able to accomplish on and off the court. So in short, I'm a fan of the Lakers, but in shorter, I was okay with the Lakers years before LeBron got there. But I grew up really liking the Phoenix Suns with Steve Nash, and then early Golden State Warriors. And I always have to put this disclaimer, back when it was Monte Ellis and Stephen Curry still fighting for the team. And the Matt Barnes and Steve Jackson, we believe, I was a fan back then when people didn't believe.
You better show your receipts. Real quick, Big Top Floyd says, hello, AJ and your guests and the Breakers. The finals are finally here. The Lakers are favorite, but the Heat, led by Jimmy Butler, says that they will not be intimidated. Hopefully they will not be playing against the crying of the Lakers to the NBA that they are entitled to the calls. Will the refs let them play? The league will still survive if LeBron fails to win a fourth ring. Is it that bad? We think that the league is trying to get LeBron a ring?
Well, I mean, if you had to write it in a Shakespearean fashion, the Lakers are destined to win the championship because of everything that has occurred between Kobe Bryant and the organization. And so it shall be, AJ, it shall be. Now, obviously, Miami didn't get that script, so like they're like, we love Kobe too. But yeah, you were talking earlier about how, Disney and ABC, ESPN, they're just like kind of pulling on the heartstrings. It's like, I get it. It would be great if Lakers could win, honor Kobe, whoop-de-whoop. But the Lakers are going to honor Kobe regardless, because that's what you do with that organization. Yeah. So they do have a different mission in mind. Obviously, they knew they wanted to win, but now they have a different motivation. But yeah, I think Miami might have missed that screening, that preview, that chapter of the book. They I don't think they not that they don't care, but they're like, well, we can honor Kobe too. They're like, Kobe might even love us more if we do beat y'all, because then Kobe would be like, y'all ain't even deserve it. Like,
you better come on here, man. Valencia King is killing it on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK. Kimberly Armstrong said, to be honest, the Lakers will win for Kobe. And I get that sentiment. I don't ever want to be disrespectful to Kobe Bryant's memory, his legacy, what he meant to the game, what he means to the fans. I mean, I said it as a minister. Kobe Bryant's footprint covered the whole world. There were people who never, met him physically, but were affected by his passing. And still, right now, his wife is fighting for justice, as you had sheriffs, inappropriately taking pictures and sharing them of her husband's dead body, his daughters, dead body, every other family member, every other family that was represented on that tragic day. And they should be punished and held accountable for their lack of respect and crossing those lines. That being said, to the point of what we've been talking about, the game itself is big enough. The game itself is big enough because who's there? The Lakers, history, legacy, Miami, they had that run. They haven't been back since without, LeBron and them. And I think people forget that Dwayne Wade won a chip before LeBron got there in Miami. So, Miami ain't new to this. They're true to it. And again, you've got the old establishment against a couple of Joes, man. I mean, no slide on Jimmy Butler and Bam and those guys, but no superstars over there in Miami. There's so many different storylines. I get it. I'm sounding like a journalist, but man, you don't have to pull on my heartstrings. This thing is good, right? The way it is.
Well, it is, but when we think about the conglomerate that is Disney and ABC and those stations, they only have one script.
Yeah,
they only have one. They don't have the same script, so there's no room for different storylines or different perspectives. They have one storyline, and they're gonna stick with it. We'll mention the Miami and Tyler Hero doing big things over here. Bam Adebayo, whoop-de-whoop, first time All-Star, but then they're gonna go back to their original script. So we know this. It's literally a conglomerate. So I think. And just like you said, the basketball in itself is enough. And if we think about Kobe, in my opinion, would not have wanted anything handed to him. So let's say if Miami wins, the better team needs to win.
It is just as valid as Miami wins this thing as it would be if the Lakers won it. I feel like Eminem say you only got one shot. And this gonna sound bad. I kind of wish somebody else had the call. I kind of wish somebody had the broadcast. TNT. I don't want to hear Charles and Shaq, but I just wish somebody else had the broadcast so we can hear something different than the predicted storylines that we're gonna get. Probably starting in a couple of hours. All we're gonna hear about is Kobe and LeBron and all of that. And it's like, dude, let's just play this thing. Jump ball, be up, get your man. I mean, let's go. Yeah,
absolutely.
Let me get Shirley Walker King's comments in because, she's SWK. She said Valencia's mom, who was raised in Cali, was a fan of the Lakers back in the day with Magic, Kareem, Cooper, Green, and that team. but I will always have love for my West Side upbringing. It's in my DNA.
Yeah, that's they go all day.
What's it like at the dinner table when LeBron was going up against the Golden State Warriors? What was it like at the dinner table?
Comical. It was very comical because my mom and I actually covered, don't give me the line on the year, I think it was the 2014 Western Conference Finals between Oklahoma City and Golden State Warriors in the Bay, when they were still in the Bay. And so we were there. Fans were just amazing. One of the fans gave us their foam finger right off of their hand, like, no, you guys can't get there, go Golden State Warriors. And so when we came back, and, once the finals and they were playing LeBron, we brought that home. My dad's just like, what is that? Take this out of my house. So it's definitely been fun. They have their own, rivalry anyway, just because East Coast and West Coast, I should say Midwest. But they're two funny people.
That's hilarious. And you got DNA from both of them, so that makes you hilarious.
And in 3, 2, 1, can you see it? Oh wait, I'm gonna go the wrong way.
What the world?
Yeah, there's the foam finger.
Oh my God! You know what? Y'all are. Let me get this caller on the air. Hello, you're live on the lunch break. Who's this?
Brother AJ and Miss Valencia King. This is Ferdinand.
First caller ever on this show. Ferdinand, caller of the year 2017. Ferdinand, what it is, brother? What's going on?
Just want to share something with you guys. Look, every team had a golden opportunity for this year. The reason why LeBron has been talked about so much, in order to become victorious and win the victory, you have to place yourself in a position. LeBron obviously placed himself, in LA because he thought that would be a stepping stone and for him to win a championship. If he wins a championship, AJ, he placed himself there before all the mayhem came. And so, I don't think they're going to ever let Kobe rest. God bless his soul. But no one can be mad at LeBron and the Lakers. No one can be mad at anybody. For those teams, everybody had the same opportunity. The pandemic came. You're playing a short season, so the Rockets had their chance. They blew it. Some of the other teams had a chance. They blew it. So whoever wins, hey, nothing wrong with them. If LeBron go out and win, if Miami go out and win, they took advantage of an opportunity that everybody should do in life. Anytime, Valencia, you have the opportunity to take advantage of something great, do it. Because if you don't put yourself in a position to be great, you'll never be great.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Ferdinand, appreciate you. Who you got in this series, Ferdinand?
Man, I'm going with LeBron.
Okay.
I'm going with LeBron because I've been a LeBron James follower throughout his whole career. He's done Valencia some great things for a lot of great people.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it. Maybe nobody else don't. Not so much of what he's doing on the court, but he's done a lot of great things off the court. And if he want to drive to the basket every time, AJ, he learn what it takes to be a champion, and he's going to do it. So he's going to give everything he has. And that's why I'm going with LeBron and the Lakers.
Yeah. Appreciate that, Ferdinand.
All right, y'all have a good one.
All right, you too. Let me share this real quick. Retweeted the other day, 2 days ago, Magic Johnson said when LeBron James signed with the Lakers, he told us he would get us back to the NBA Finals, and he's definitely kept his word. And again, that was before Kobe's passing. LeBron made the decision to go to LA with that mission. I'm going to get us back to the NBA Finals. Didn't do it that first year, and he's got it done now. So here we go.
Yeah, and I think that was LeBron's MO when he went back to Cleveland the second time. If he says it, that means he means it, and he's going to do his darndest to do it and get it done. So it's no shocker that in the meeting, LeBron doesn't really have to try to sell himself anyway, try to convince anyone to sign him. But, it doesn't hurt if he says, hey, finals, we're going to be there.
Let me say one more thing about LeBron, and you're definitely welcome to respond. And what LeBron has done this finals offensively, hey, listen, I'm going. Y'all play. Let's play ball. And he's going to the rim. He's doing his thing. But then to say, yo, give me Murray, give him to me. I got fourth quarter locked down. And I got to tell you now, we ain't seen too many superstars do that since some of the guys back in the day. I got a little bit more respect for LeBron this year than I've even had for him in the past.
Oh, absolutely. And he's supposed to. This is what, his 17th year? He's supposed to do that. And so Murray, obviously a younger player, is just supposed to take whatever LeBron is trying to, defend on you. There's nothing you can run from it. Try to get a screen, he gonna come back. That's what LeBron is supposed to do in year 17 because he's been where Murray is at. Murray's trying to get where LeBron has already been. And so that's just how life is. And I don't know how else to say it, but that is what LeBron is supposed to do. So I'm not shocked by it. Obviously I have respect for it, but at this point in his career, that's what you're supposed to do. It's kind of like, was it the Clippers? I don't know if it was the Clippers or Toronto. It was one of those teams, and they had a game on the line for a final shot. It was final defensive play or something like that. And I'm like, what?
Kawhi switched off of the man who ended up winning the game with the shot. And again, I get the switch. I know that's what the defense normally calls for, but this wasn't a normal play. This is you D that guy up because you're the best defensive player and the best player on your team. So if you got to knock one of your guys out of the way to get on that man, that's the one guy you're not going to let to take that shot. And I know Kawhi would do it differently, but he didn't right there.
Yeah, and that's just. We know LeBron is year 17. Kawhi, even though he's a vet and got his finals MVP and championships and all that, it's just those kind of decisions. Those are the difference between players and great players, if you will. And so those are the things that definitely stand out. I even look at a guy like Dame Lillard, and he's maybe not be the best defender, but especially on the offensive shot, he gonna live and die by it. And those are the kind of things you respect. If the game is on the line, I know I'm taking the shot.
Yeah.
If
he don't hit, that's one thing, but he's gonna take it. He's gonna take it. We got to get ready to take a break, but the fact that LeBron stayed out on that court and poured out wisdom to those young, dynamic Denver Nuggets, that said a lot about him as well. And we know LeBron hadn't always handled it like that. So it was good to see the maturation of LeBron James there too. All right, we'll take the break. When we come back, we're going to talk about other players not named LeBron and not named Kobe when we come back on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. It's Team Texas Tuesday.
I'm Gary Bledsoe, Texas NAACP president. In my lifetime, we have worked and sacrificed to make real progress.
That's right, Gary. I'm Claude Cummings, Vice President of the Communication Workers of America. Our community is under attack again.
Our jobs are being exported. The court system has largely turned its back on us, and people need to realize, Claude, is the last election amounts to a true revolution, where all those gains in civil rights and human progress are actually being targeted.
I know Powers and Washington won't deny health care.
I'm going to snap a photo.
Say it again.
So I'm going to snap a photo. I think it's snapped. I don't know. Oh, wait.
It did.
I think it. Hold on. It's Stanley. Let me do it one more time. Okay.
That's right. Okay.
Workers of America.
You're listening to 1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legendary KYOK.
I'm going to tell you how you can get real health insurance for as little as $6 a day. Yes, now you can get affordable health insurance for you and your family immediately, starting at just $6 a day. And coverage is guaranteed regardless of your medical condition. That's right, for about $6 a day, you can have guaranteed health insurance. And there's dental, vision, and prescription coverage too. You owe it to yourself and your family to make this free call right now and learn more. There are no deductibles, no waiting period, no contracts, and coverage is guaranteed. Call National Health right now for your risk-free, guaranteed health insurance quote, starting at just $6 a day. Call now.
800-797-0921. 800-797-0921. 800-797-0921. That's 800-797-0921.
Hey, what's going on? This is Lecrae, and right now you're listening to The Lunch Break.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. Let me tell you something. If you don't get registered to vote by October the 5th, that is the last day to get registered to vote, and you ain't talking about nothing. If you get registered to vote by October the 5th, you ain't talking about nothing. Early voting. You can't talk about nothing if you don't register or vote. You just can't.
Right.
October 13th or the 30th is early voting. If you want to get a ballot by mail, the last day you can do that is October the 23rd, and the last day for that mail ballot to be received is November the 3rd. Of course, November 3rd is election day. So please get registered, vote early, and let your voice, your vote do the talking for you, all right? All right, we're back here on the lunch break.
Yeah, they probably about to label me a hater, but I know these people greater than the songs they created. It's little homies in a hood.
Okay, all right, so we got to not be haters and talk about other people not named LeBron James that are in position. Green is in position to win another title. Dwight Howard has never won one. Let's see who else. Anthony Davis, obviously, is going further than he's ever been before. And then when you look down at that bench, Kyle Kuzma, Morris, Caruso, Rondo has won before, but a lot of folks gave up on Rondo, and it would be good to see Rondo hosting up a trophy saying, now, how you like me now? Wait a minute. Like, I'm going to play it for him if Rondo gets to hold up the chip. And then JaVale McGee, you know, he got, one with Golden State, or if not two. You know, again, you know, there are a lot of guys with storylines that are riding on this NBA Finals on the Lakers side alone.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you mentioned JaVale. Quinn Cook got a couple rings with the Warriors as well. So I saw one that Deion Waiters could get a ring either way.
Oh, wow.
I didn't further research, but it said if Miami wins, that Miami still has the option to give him a ring.
I'll tell you what, I would do it. I would do it. You know, when they get them rings, they give rings to everybody. That's the one thing the Astros did right when they got rings. They gave rings to everybody. If you had an A in your name, you got a ring.
Listen, I got two. Where my ring at?
I'm telling you, man. So that would be cool. But there are a lot of guys that worked hard to revitalize their careers, to play their roles, to do what it is that they do to help get them there. So this really is not all about LeBron and Kobe. There's some other guys that work really hard to be in a position for this.
Oh, absolutely. You look at Iggy Iguodala, obviously champion, got his acknowledgement and recognition, but what he's been able to do and contribute to this Miami team, these things don't show up on the stat sheet. There's another vet, I'm drawing a blank on his name. Haslem? Is it Haslem? John Haslem?
Yeah, John Haslem.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, another vet who I think you mentioned this yesterday with David. You know, things that he does because he does not getting the playing time, but he still is contributing to that team. And like you said, with Brad Stevenson not calling that timeout, even if they had a vet on there to say, "Hey, y'all, chill out," but that's what a vet on Miami would do. And so these are things. These are different storylines. They have them on both sides, both teams. So it's just going to come down to obviously maybe not even who's the better team, but who can just execute, you know, better down the stretch. So
I like the way you said that because a lot of teams. I mean, and I got this revelation on the way home Sunday. I literally almost went live after my service. Some people worry about losing rounds when you still gonna win the fight. Don't worry about every round that you lose. You can still win the fight. Some folks don't realize this is best out of 7. 7 is the number of completion. You win 4, you can lose 3. So like you said, man, if some of these vets just play their game and execute, some of these young kids, young guys, play their game and just execute, you might not be the better team on paper, but you can still come out holding that trophy. And Miami has showed us that all throughout these playoffs.
Absolutely, because the better team on paper was the Clippers, and where they at? At home. So
Milwaukee at home, Boston at home. I mean,
Milwaukee at home. You know, so yeah, you can't. I think you and Kris Gardner were talking about this as far as analytics. You can't always ride on the analytics. You just got to go out there and get the job done. And we know that LeBron. I know we said the other player is not named LeBron, but we know that LeBron is going to make sure that his team knows that. However, you also have a Miami team that is, a lot of those guys got it out the mud. Jimmy Butler is well recognized for everything he's been able to do, but he didn't start off that way.
Right.
Tyler Hero, he just happy to be here, but he is proving himself ready for the moment, and so I know it's sports, so you can't compare completely, but I look at a Tyler Hero versus a Luka, and I know they're not the same kind of player. Don't get me started on that, everybody, but just as far as young players being ready for the moment.
Yep.
Tyler Hero and I know they're different players, and they're put in different positions as far as like the team that they're in, but the people around Tyler Hero are making him better, noticeably faster.
Yeah. Valencia King, host of the Dialogue and Real Talk Sports, joining us here in the closing moments of the lunch break. Team Texas Tuesday. I like the way you said that, because think about it. Luka had to get to a place where the organization trusted him. And said, all right, we're going to follow your lead. And I love how the guys have come around Luka and said, you the man, we're going with you. Dirk is gone, we're going with you. Look at Tyler Hero. They're not following him, but they're trusting him. So whatever he's done in practice, whatever he's done in workouts, whatever he did in the offseason and regular season, got them to a point right now where the organization said, get in there. Get in the second half, it's you, baby. We're rolling with you. If it ain't there, they trust him to do the other things well to be able to be out there on the court.
Yeah, I love the way you put that, because with Luka, it was an automatic, like, this is your team, we're following you. But with Tyler, they're not following him, but they're trusting him to lead. Right. And that right there is like, that's all you can ask for. And maybe things should have been different, with Luka, and not trying to give him the keys to the city on his first day here. He don't even know the highways in Dallas, He don't
know Dallas from Fort Worth.
Exactly. And so it's no fault on Luka, but it's like, for me, just on the outside looking in as an organization, you don't just hand someone the key. Like, I know he's coming in, he came in as a rookie, quote unquote, but he still was a pro overseas and got his accolades and chips over there as well. But there's still a level of, maybe y'all should have led him down the road a little bit easier instead of just saying, welcome in. And so everyone has their own individual journey, so we'll just see how it plays out. But I really like the way Miami has come through for Tyler Hero. And it's not even just in the bubble. I've been hearing about Tyler Hero early in the season because of everything his teammates say about him. I'm like, well, he got to be cool. What? Yep. Tyler Hero, yeah.
That's what I love about my youngest son is a Miami, not fan, but fanatic. I mean, he gets all the letters of what fan stands for. And he was like, Dad, there's this rookie, Tyler Hero, watch him. And when I heard he was from Kentucky, I didn't watch him. I'll be honest. I don't like what they're doing up there in Kentucky. But, man, to see how him, Jimmy Butler, Goran Dragic, Bam, and the rest of the guys have bonded as friends.
Yeah.
I mean, Jimmy Butler and Goran Dragic are best friends. And they take Tyler Hero with them. They take Robinson with them. Bam is right there with them before we got into this bubble. I mean, dude, they just translated that over into the bubble, and look at how that's working for them. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like they realized that this was the situation as far as the bubble, and it feels like they just really leaned into it. They weren't trying to, be extra, trying to make it like a normal season. Like, no, they realized what it was. They leaned into it, and they're here to get the job done. It was one quote from Jimmy Butler. I guess someone asked him about, family coming in, and he was like, this ain't a vacation. We're here for business.
Business trip.
And Jimmy is a new dad. Jimmy is a new dad, like this year new dad. So for him to be like, I'll catch you when I'm back, little baby. Like,
yeah. I hate to do it. We got to get ready to go. But, before we do, I'll have you back before then. But what do you think is going to happen in this NBA Finals?
I think Miami will show improve. I still look. I can't bet against LeBron until proven otherwise. It's not in me. But I think if Miami wants this series to go longer than 5, they need to come out and win Game 1.
I got you. Must win Game 1 for Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I said to Kris Gardner, founder of the Houston Roundball Review, I wanted to go 7 as a fan. As a fan, I wanted to go 7. I want to see every one of the games they supposed to play. I believe the Lakers are going to win 4-3, but I want to see every one of them. I don't want them to cut nothing out. In fact, they can cut those commercials out and show those online, but I believe the Lakers are going to win this one 4-3. But it's going to be a fun series. Don't count Miami out.
At all.
Yeah. Valencia, tell everybody where they can find you and follow you with all of the phenomenal things that you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, everyone. I am Valencia King. And of course, you can follow me across all social media sites at I am Valencia King. See what I did there? Definitely hit me up on Twitter because I will be tweeting throughout these finals games. Don't know what I'm going to say just yet, but come along and just see what's on the timeline. And then AJ's been mentioning The Dialogue, which is a show that I've done pre-COVID-19 in person, but we've translated it to social media for social distancing purposes. And that'll be starting back up on October the 6th. Got some amazing guests lined up, but it's basically a show where we have open conversations, discuss what you are, who you are, and what you do, and just talk about anything else you've got going on. So if you think you might be interested in that, hit me up on the gram at I am Valencia King. Let me know as I'm still looking in some guests. And that's about it. Lunch break is I'm about to go get some lunch.
You all right with me. Well, listen, before you go, little stank face with it. I am Valencia King right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK. Hey, tell everybody up your way that I said, hey, I know Chastity just had a birthday. I know Rose killing it on social media. Tell her to keep the fire coming. I love it.
Yeah. Rose is graduating in December.
Say it again.
Rose graduating in December from nursing school.
You know I'm going to be celebrating that. Yeah. Come on, the dad.
And we have to wrap it up, but I'll have to get you and Dex back aligned because for the football pick'ems and all that, he's so invested in that. So I'll let him know to get to you.
Absolutely. Y'all, she is. I am Valencia King. Do you notice what I've done with your name? IAVK?
Mm-hmm. I did.
I'm old school. You know, I do something, I want all credit for it. So, Valencia, we'll talk next time here.
Take care.
Be safe out there. All right, y'all. We got to get ready to go. Of course, we got Miss Sybil Wilkes coming up with the coronavirus update. I'm going to get out of the way. Donnie McClurkin after that with the Donnie McClurkin Show. Best in gospel music, latest in the gospel music industry. And, of course, the Astros, what are they doing right now? What are the Astros doing right now? It was 0-0 heading into the second inning with the Astros. So we'll see if they can't get a win in their playoff game. And, again, don't forget Tennessee shutting down playoff operations or face-to-face operations due to a breakout of 8 coronavirus tests. And Minnesota has been shut down, and the Pittsburgh and the Texans have been cautioned that their games might be postponed. So, as always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I do love you. There's nothing you can do about it except wear your mask, wash your hands, sanitize everything around you, be sensitive to everyone around you. And, oh, yeah, by the way, give people their 6 feet. And when you see that racism, kill it. Not the person, the racism. Y'all be blessed.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know today about the coronavirus. While many young adults may think that they are strong and invincible, doctors warn that the coronavirus can strike them with a vengeance. New studies found that among more than 3,000 adults between the ages of 18 and 34 who are hospitalized with the disease, 21% required intensive care, 10% required mechanical ventilation, and nearly 3% or 88 patients died. I'm Sybil Wilkes. Be informed, be empowered.
Racist stage fright, so let me fall back and stop giving
The legendary 1140 AM KYOK Conroe and 92.3 FM K222CX Houston.
Are you ready?
Man, I tell you what, I absolutely loved that show. I loved the energy. I loved the guests. I loved every bit of that. So y'all do me a favor. Keep giving a lot of love to, and I'm sorry, I had the wrong thing. See, when I have to be my own producer, I don't have the right stuff up. But y'all do me a favor. Give a lot of love to Kris Gardner from Houston Roundball Review.com and Valencia King at valenciaking.com. Again, two amazing guests, two amazing young people that are doing great work. I love their expertise. I love their personalities. I love them because they're so good at what they do, and they're good people too. So again, let's see what's going on, man. Let's see what's happening on the positive side. It's good that we got these sports and we can celebrate. On the negative side, there's still a coronavirus out there. Don't get lax. Don't get careless. Don't get reckless. Please be safe because it's not just you that's at risk. It's everybody else that you come in contact with. So, don't let what you see on TV fool you that it's safe to just, go wild and willy-nilly. Praying for the folks down in Florida. No reason in the world why your state should be wide open. And, I've been worried about that governor down there. I do. I keep him in prayer. I think he's getting bad information. And I think, unfortunately, he's making some decisions that's probably not wise to make right now. But, hey, I could be wrong, and I'm willing to accept that if that be the case. So, as always, not this, definitely this. I love you. Nothing you can do about it. Y'all stay safe, though, all right? All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow for Winning Wednesday. I'll announce this week's winner in the Lunch Break Weekly Keeping Up with the Joneses Challenge, all right?